Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Sweetser, and I am the Director of Customer Success here at Sedai. I am also joined by Monica Cortazar, who is our Partner Manager at Datadog. We will be discussing how you can utilize Datadog to turn your cloud environments autonomous in as little as 15 minutes. I'll pass it over to Monica first to discuss how we partner, and I'll jump into how customers can use Datadog to remediate manually in an automated fashion and how you can graduate to a full autonomous system. Monica, over to you.
Thanks, Alex. Excited to be here. As Alex mentioned, I manage our technology partnerships here at Datadog, specifically focused on our partner integrations and partner marketplace. Here at Datadog, we work with our tech partners to expand the breadth of observability customers can achieve with the Datadog platform via our partner integrations, SaaS licenses, and professional services offerings that customers can configure and purchase directly through Datadog. So in this case, we worked with Sedai on an integration that is now available on our main integrations page. So I'll hand it back to Alex to dive into their integration.
Great. Thanks, Monica. So you can actually turn your investment in Datadog into an autonomous engine in as little as 15 minutes. But first, let me explain how customers use Datadog today, the progression into automation, and finally, the move to autonomous. So Datadog has become the observability platform of choice to visualize your cloud environments, trace your applications, among many other benefits. Today, customers will take a manual or automated approach to resolve issues as close to real time as possible. In a manual remediation cycle, the SRE, DevOps engineer, or developer will establish threshold alerts in Datadog, simply stating, alert me if an application consumes more than 70% of my resources available. Once the alert is triggered, the SRE is notified, investigates, conducts a horizontal or vertical scaling based on the issue at hand, and watches to ensure that the issue is actually resolved. Now, a lot of customers have begun to write scripts to automate actions from alerts. So let's take the previous example of an app utilizing 70% of the resources available. We can then write a script to work with the VPA or HPA in Kubernetes, or the memory or concurrency in Lambda to conduct a scale-up. Of course, we also need to define the threshold for scaling so we don't waste resources. Based on our analysis, we've concluded that 20% scale-up is sufficient. So we actually set it up at 25% resources scale-up to ensure nothing begins to slow down when the traffic comes in. Now we have an automated workflow that scales based on an alert and two thresholds that we've established. Now, keep in mind, as your environment grows with business growth, the number of alerts you have increases to hundreds, if not thousands, each having an individual threshold. The number of scripts you wrote increases, and the different thresholds for scale-ups increase as well. So what if my environment changes over time? What if my traffic patterns have seasonality components to them? Am I actually wasting any of my resources? Where can I cut costs without impacting performance? Will I be faced with availability issues if I don't scale greater than the 25% threshold due to unforeseen bursts in traffic? These are all issues that will automatically be resolved by utilizing Sedai. So Sedai layers on top of your Datadog instance, and onboarding takes 10 to 15 minutes. That's it. No alerts, no thresholds, no manual setup. We ingest the metrics we need, all of the golden metrics from Datadog, and the models actually begin to learn your specific application's behavior, seasonality, and resources of your infrastructure configurations, among many other items that the models are fed into. Sedai will then begin to take autonomous action in your environments on your behalf. We can then actually feed those actions back into Datadog as events so that you can visualize the changes that Sedai is making in real time right on your Datadog dashboards. Now let's take a couple of examples. When talking about performance, Sedai has detected a traffic burst and autonomously scales your systems to accommodate the increase in traffic. This helps to ensure the application is performant and that no customer experiences any latency when interacting with it. Inversely, on the cost side, how do I know when I should scale these resources back down without impacting performance. And Sedai's models are able to determine when and by how much to ensure optimal performance while saving you on costs. So the entire workflow of the manual remediation in Datadog, or even the automated remediation, you still have to set up all those alerts and those thresholds and maybe do a QBR to make sure that they're still at the right levels that you want them based on how the environment has changed over time. With Sedai, we have continuous learning that autonomously manages that seasonality and that behavior and understands what resources are needed, when, how much, and when to scale back those resources when they're not needed anymore, all in real time, all autonomously, with no human or manual intervention. Additionally, we are also able to analyze releases into production on your behalf to alert you if an application will error out, if it'll time out, or if it's going to have any performance degradation in the future. This will allow your developers in real time to call our APIs before they push into production to see, hey, Sedai, how is this application going to perform? Alternatively, if it is pushed into production, we'll send an alert to say, hey, we expect this application to time out in 1 hour's time if these resources aren't changed. We can also help you autonomously establish service level objectives for all of your applications. Our models will look at the behavior of those applications over time and determine and allocate a service level objective for that application. And wherever possible, Sedai will take an action in production to keep you within your error budgets as well. So in summary, Autonomous provides major benefits to SRE, ops, and dev teams in the terms of performance, availability, and cost savings. We're also working better together. While Datadog provides APM and the observability of choice in the industry for you to visualize many things just beyond infrastructure and APM, such as network and logs, security, etc., where Sedai and Datadog work the best together is by ingesting those metrics and turning the system into an autonomous system by taking over some of the day-to-day toil that your teams are actually being impacted by. You can have your developers, your ops team now focus on higher order issues, while Sedai sits by your side and conducts the day-to-day operations of your availability, performance, and cost management. Also, setup is super easy. No thresholds, no alerts, no manual configurations. You plug in your APIs from Datadog, as well as your cloud provider, and that's it. The models go to work and determine how and when to take action on your behalf. So thank you, everyone. We'll move to some questions and answers. So question 1. Would the SREs use two systems, Datadog and Sedai, to manage their applications? So while yes, you will use two systems, what you can use Datadog for is the glass. So Sedai is that SRE buddy, developer buddy that sits in the background. And once you've built trust with the system, it's in the background doing those changes on your behalf. And by porting the events back into Datadog, you never have to leave Datadog to understand what Sedai is actually doing. Monica, anything you would want to add there?
Nope, I think that covered everything.
Cool. Question 2. I have Datadog today. Where do I go to add the autonomous capability? That is a great question. So there are two areas that you would want to, and let me just show you. So today in Sedai, the areas that you would use Datadog to set up, you would set up the metric pull from Datadog as well as the event push back into Datadog. And how you do that is by going to any AWS account that you have set up. And by simply adding Datadog here, using your API key. And what that does is pull the metrics that are associated with that particular cloud account By using our models and tagging, we're able to determine what metrics actually associate with that cloud account. And then also what you can do is add the notification provider integration. Again, just the API here, and that allows you to send certain notifications back into Datadog. So if we look at remediations and say an optimization was completed on a serverless or a Lambda, you can use Datadog to send that event back into Datadog. Now in Datadog, when you install the tile, so you go to the integrations, search for Datadog, search for Sedai. And all you have to do is install this tile. And what that is going to do is give you an out-of-the-box dashboard that is actually going to house all of the events and information. And then you can select from your calendar view. If we look back for the last few months, we can start to see that there's a lot of events that Sedai did right here. So we'll zoom right in on that. And you can see that all of these scale-up memories and all of these Lambda jobs are listed here on the right. And you can see when those events actually occurred. So as you see, memory did increase over time, but we were able to decrease the duration of those Lambdas as well. So you'll be able to visualize this in Datadog. And we're working on some additional features in the future that will allow deeper visibility and using Datadog as the glass. Okay. I think that is all the questions that we had. Okay, well, thank you all for your time. Please do reach out if you have any questions. Happy to answer any of those. And Monica, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.